motion, Michael, to adopt the Verizon license amendment.
Give me a moment, Mr. Chairman.
Sure.
I believe we have a nomination
another
for the
appointment, I'm
wastewater
sorry.
planning committee. Wastewater Planning Advisory Committee.
I'm sorry, I skipped over that.
All right.
Right. Okay, so, you want to read that?
Mr. Chairman, I move to place in nomination the following names for appointment as members of the Wastewater Planning Advisory Committee for terms to expire with the adoption of the Comprehensive Wastewater Management Plan or until the mission is complete. Bradley H. Jones Sr., 251 Park Street. Mark Westervelt, 10 Darrell Drive.
Who's the
Finance
finance?
Committee representative.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Harris, seconded by Mr. Delaney. Just as a comment, Mr. Jones has served on that committee as the Finance Committee representative, and as he is resigned from the Finance Committee effective at the end of June, provided there's an additional seat, the seat is filled. He wanted to continue on this committee, so I'm recommending that he be appointed to the committee, and that Mark Westervelt has been appointed by the Finance Committee as their representative to the committee, and this is just a procedure of formalizing those appointments. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous? Okay, adopt the amendment to the Verizon license. Mike, when you're ready.
Mr. Chairman, I move to adopt the amendment to section 6.2.2.2 of the Verizon Cable Television License.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Harris, seconded by Mr. O'Leary. Discussion. Greg, I believe that council has reviewed this.
Council has reviewed it and recommended, and the town has concluded all of the legal notice requirements, including advertising, providing a copy of the proposed amendment in section 2.2.2 that was filed with the town clerk and given an opportunity for public comment. No comments were received to be shared with the board this evening.
Mr. Vito.
Okay, now, this was to do what? This was to lower their
Yes.
fee.
From 5% of the gross annual revenues to 4.25%.
Right.
And it was the parity provision that was included in the license.
Right.
That if the town would agree to a lower rate, that would also apply to the Verizon license.
And just under comment, I will be voting against this for the reason that I don't like the way Verizon did that. They could have come in and offered 10%, and everybody is saying, oh, great, we're gonna get 10%. I know I found out very late in the period that if Comcast didn't agree to 5, Verizon could drop down. So.
Well, that's the law, though.
Well, I know, but that wasn't told to us up front by Verizon. So, I mean, I understand we have to do it, but I don't like the way Verizon came in and threw that 5% number right out there, because they knew we were gonna jump at it. And I know I didn't realize we had to compare them until we got well into the process, when they were standing here asking for the signed license when we hadn't even voted on it yet. So I have Verizon too, so but I'm not happy with the way that they came into town, so.
I'm not sure that the fault lies completely with Verizon. I mean, it was that Comcast gave us a pretty good battle associated
Yeah,
with
I agree.
negotiating that contract. As you remember, it went down to the wire, and, you know, I think we have to credit the Cable Advisory Committee and their work
I do.
associated with coming to, you know, a reasonable number that would support the Cable Access Corporation going forward.
No,
And as a result of the settlement with Comcast, I mean, we could have continued to negotiate with them and not settled for the 4 point something and got it for 5 if we could have, if they had thought we could have got there, then we wouldn't be making this change to Verizon. We're making this change because of the equal parity requirement. So.
I agree, and I want to be perfectly clear. I'm not faulting our Cable Advisory Committee in any way, shape, or form. I mean, they put in many, many hours, Mr. Dardino and all that group. I'm not faulting them. But I don't fault Comcast for saying, no, I'm not going up because Verizon came in at 5. I think we had this discussion, so I don't want, we don't have to rehash it. I'm gonna vote no on the doubles. Thank you.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
4 to 1. Motion carries. First couple of tabs are only for the clerk.
Oh, okay. You mean on the
Up
left there?
The page, which one is it? Oh, this is the-
Oh, no, I see what you're saying, okay.
This is the Verizon one.
This stuff is the 4th of July. You're gonna follow along.
So we've signed the bans. Which one? I'm sorry. Mike?
4th of July is up next.
Side.
Okay,
You haven't
4th of
actually
July,
taken a
right.
vote on it.
So Warren came in and gave his pitch earlier because he's got a meeting going on. We were supposed to have a public hearing at 8:30. There wasn't anyone present requesting it. So at this point, all we need to do, unless you have some concerns or questions, is to vote the carnival permit.
I have no concerns or questions. I like the carnival.
Me too.
Okay, so, Michael?
Mr. Chairman, I move to grant a carnival permit to the 4th of July Committee for July 3rd through 5th, 2008, to be held at Ipswich River Park, subject to all regulatory department requirements.
Second?
Motion made by Mr. Harris, seconded by Mr. O'Leary. Discussion? Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous? Next item on our agenda is Town Administrative Report. We have a copy in our handout.
We do. Give you a chance to locate it before I start.
Getting there, Sean.
I have to do the same thing, so.
Great. At your workshop meeting on May 22nd, the board agreed to hold a public hearing at its next meeting on June 16th at 7:15. In reviewing the betterment bylaw that the town has, there are requirements that we proceed with a public hearing. To be on the safe side, we've put together an advertisement which will appear in the newspaper. Just wanted to provide the board with notice and see what your preferences were for the location and time, because I understand that is subject to your review this evening. Is that a good time and location for you? We've got it at the middle school, large group, 7:15, you're right.
All right, now let me bring up something then associated with the Friends of the Council on Aging have requested to make a presentation to us. And they said 30 minutes. I'm not sure it's going to take 30 minutes, but they want to present to us the results of the survey that they conducted, which was quite successful. I think it was about 20% response. There's been significant amount of useful information that we might want to take into consideration as we go forward with our planning. I'm privy to a fair amount of the information because my wife has been working on the compilation of it. They had asked for our next meeting, and talking with Greg and the fact that we're going to really be tied up with the public hearing on the sewer betterment, we have two options. One is to suggest to them that we do it at the first meeting in July, or maybe meet at 6:30 and have them on early. Wondering how the board felt about that, because I don't think we want to put them at the end. The betterment thing could go on for who knows how long.
Right. 6:30 is fine with me. I don't know about
Fine.
yours.
Keith? Michael?
I can do 6.
I'll pencil you in here, Bob.
Okay, I will verify with them that if they can do that, then
Thanks,
I'll
Senator
get back
Tardo.
to you in
So 6:30?
6:30. And we're gonna do this at the small group room at the middle school, and I'm assuming that we will be able to arrange for transmission of the meeting. I see a gentleman in the back shaking his head. Next?
I hope that was a positive head shake.
It was, yes.
Next is a copy of a document that was included in the packet from the Housing Authority. And it involves the board revoting its intention to convey a parcel of land at 0 Chestnut Street, shown on Assessors Map 56, parcel 62, for the purposes of providing housing for low, moderate, and consumer residents age 62 and older. It's my understanding that the vote is for the purposes of clarifying the intention, restating the intentions of the board, and also reaffirming the vote that took place at the October town meeting. The reason for the vote is to support an application which is being submitted to the Department of Housing and Urban Development for federal funds under the Capital Advance Grant Program. A motion has been drafted for the board's review and approval this evening, and would ask for your consideration.
Mr. Vino,
Yes, if I may, Mr. Chair, Mr. Belliaconis and myself had spoke to Mary Prenny, who was here earlier, and I know I had asked if we could have town council take a look at this wording, because there has to be something different in here, and Mary Prenny agreed to that, to have town council take a look at it. It is kind of a timely fashion thing, though, where she'd like to get this back within a week or so, if possible. Because something must be changed in here, or else they wouldn't want different wording. I'm not saying it's for the bad or negative.
all right, so we have two options. One is we could schedule a meeting
Yep.
early next week to, just for that
Just
one
for this
purpose.
purpose.
Or two is we could vote to approve it tonight pending approval of town council.
Yep.
And then
we
if
could do
town
that, too.
council has a problem, we'd have to obviously
Yep.
schedule a meeting to vote on it. I think it is an important thing
Yeah, I
she
do
gets
too.
this
Yeah, I do too.
grant application in on time, or we lose that opportunity. What are the wishes of the
Yeah,
board?
I like your second option, Mr. Chair, is
I'm
let's
modifying
approve
it
it
right now.
let's approve it on approval of town council after reviewing the document.
Michael?
Mr. Chairman, pending the approval of town council, I move to convey the parcel of land located at 0 Chestnut Street, consisting of 10.55 acres, more or less, and shown on Assessor Map 56 as parcel 62, the premises, to the North Reading Housing Authority, the Housing Authority, for a normal consideration, subject to the terms, restrictions, and conditions set forth in Article 11, adopted by town meeting on October 1st, 2007, the restrictions. The vote shall remain in effect for a period of 12 months and shall be subject to extension by the Board of Selectmen for good cause. The premises shall be conveyed to the Housing Authority following preliminary approval by the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development of an application for a capital advance to provide financing for the construction of a supportive housing for the elderly project at the premises that shall be restricted to persons aged 62 and over upon request made by the Housing Authority.
Sean, just as to bring you up to speed on it, we had conveyed this property back and got it approved at the October town meeting, and evidently they've asked for a change, and Joe had suggested that we get that change reviewed, because we just received this
Yeah,
tonight.
we just got it tonight.
We're not voting on something brand new, but there is some change in the language of the agreement.
I seconded that.
Motion by Mr. Harris, second by Mr. O'Leary. Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous?
My report is complete.
Okay. Old and new business. Who wants to start? Steve?
Sure. Just briefly, I apologize for being late this evening, but had a